Hello YouTube, we're back with more VoD reviews. This time we have Swiss State or Day 6, the 2-1 teams going up against each other, and probably the biggest surprise in terms of what happened with the 2-1 series, HLE versus FlyQuest. Now look, I'm a FlyQuest fan. I'm someone that believed in them and their chances to actually hoist a trophy this summer in NA. I had them above TL in my tier list before the season. Was that right? No. Even if FlyQuest won, a lot of people have been kind of counting out FlyQuest. I counted them out in this series myself, and I gotta say, they really played their game, played it well, and caught HLE a bit on a bad day, but also off guard with a lot of their picks. So this is going to be a fun series to go over. I'm excited for this one. Thanks so much for tuning in as always. If you guys enjoyed the content, feel free to drop a sub, likes, and comments. Help the channel out a lot. And follow me everywhere at CubbyXX, especially on Twitch, where I stream these VoD reviews live. Now, that being said, it's time to dive on in. Okay. I will say, so Yone has been obviously a very good champion in this tournament. No one's going to disagree about that, but we are starting to see more answers emerge in Yone because teams feel like they have to ban out other things. Aurora Ziggs, been quite good in the tournament. Ziggs hasn't seen a lot to play. Ashe is a problem champion, and they want to play Callista, so I think that makes sense. These bans, for me, against FlyQuest make a lot of sense. Quad is a very good Orianna, and Quad is, I think, just okay so far in this tournament. So I like the fact they're denying that from FlyQuest. And then we've seen the Ivern be really strong for Inspired in FlyQuest, and then Blippo's Renekton, it's earned respect. So, especially if you want to pick Yone early on, taking Renekton out is nice. So it's Yone first pick, into Callista Cassio, and we have Sejuani plus Jax. Now, this is actually a decent setup for Cassio. Is Cassio vulnerable to pick? Absolutely, but this is a tank shredder, and what we're seeing with Cassio is that if you get to 3 items, or like get to Rylai's, Cassio ends up being really, really big in these games where Quad's playing it. Quad also #1 Cassio in the world. This guy is actually insane on Cassio. He hit rank 1 Korea playing it. I think LS calls him the best Cassio in the world. He's amazing at the champion. So it's definitely a pocket pick for him. He's very, very good. From there, we have support bans being thrown out. So Delight taking away the Rakan, I think is a good call. Alistar also very good for him. Leona's been a big pick for Busio on FlyQuest so far, and I think Leona's rising in prio as this tournament continues, so I actually like the Leona deny, also the Poppy, as it could... It's not really a Blippo champ up top, but it is really good on the top side if you just want to look for something that neutralizes HLEs. So anyway, ends up being the Urgot for Blippo, Kaisa, Rel, and then it's Renata to answer.
He's hot.
Hey, Greg, 52 months. Jesus Christ, man. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate it. To Pace TV. You're the man. All right. So, Renata into the full dive. Really nice. And a really good champ for Busio. So, FlyQuest is playing, like, all comfort here. And they're 5v5. I mean, they have some pretty big circles. And if they can buy space, some good DPS. They just need to close the gap. Range is not an issue against this team. Urgot actually feels okay. They just need to kind of get this comp rolling. That's the way the FlyQuest has been playing. I think they're playing a lot for their comfort and scaling. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that I appreciate that FlyQuest, like, I know that in one of the interviews, they talked about not really scrimming Eastern teams. They're trying to hide strats. I appreciate that we actually saw that pay off on stage. Runes. Anything of note? Peanut runs the red tree. Lifesteal for the Urgot. Interesting. I don't know Urgot runes. Just... And then this tree is kind of nice for Cass. It really fixes some of the like mana problems that Cass has in lane. Yeah. Was Gnar banned or does Blippo not play Gnar? Blippo's not a Gnar player. No. I do think Gnar is really strong, and I do prefer Gnar into the Jax matchup. You can get economic victory though later on by Jax. I was on Nymera's stream during the games today. Shout out to Nymera. Foxdrop also rated. Nymera rated Foxdrop, so it was really nice Foxdrop rated here. But we were making jokes about Jax economic victory. Nightmare is a Civ enjoyer. I know. Myself as well. Okay, so it ends up being swaps. And again, guys, I really feel like the NA teams have been committed to this, and I really think that there is significant edge in playing lane swaps out where you play 3 lanes from level 1. So Busio is going to come mid to support Quad and even out the Rel versus Renata. And then Blippo's just going to try and sneak some XP here. Whereas this lane's not being farmed. So Blippo, like, he's already getting XP. Like, that's already an advantage. You're just getting more as FlyQuest on the map right now. Inspired's going to go Wolves, Raptors, Krug. So he's doing the super uber clear. And he's really playing to just pressure as a Mumu. Whereas we have a flash for flash trade from Blippo onto Viper that does open things up on him later on. Meanwhile, Quad gets caught on the timer. So he's going to ward this side with Busio. Busio just dipped down, just dropped a ward. The only note I'd have about this ward is, like, I don't exactly know why Quad was fading down. Yeah, this ward gets cleared out, so he's going to go refresh, but Peanut's here. And for me, it's not unreasonable for Peanut to be here. Like, he should be here on this timer, so I think that's a really bad death from Quad. Peanut doesn't hit the smite. Inspired gets it, so that's big. And the big part about that, though, is that you lose mid pressure. And then with the path that Inspired took, he's very much pathing for himself and to get the camps to respawn. And not pathing to try and dive or pressure the Jacks, which I don't think they can do. But we just have both top laners soaking everything. Jax is going to be up a little bit in XP compared to Whippo. Whippo was starved out just a wee bit early on. And Doran's been in a lane this entire time. Nice cancel from Busio. And, I mean, while this is all going on, like, the perk for FlyQuest is that with the Callisto Renata lane, they at least got 2 points, so. Demolish. I don't love Demolish. I fade Demolish a little bit. Wait, if you're not a tank. But yeah, you can see, like, Blippo, there's a wave, so XP is even, but Blippo's been able to get way more farm, which is one of the nice perks about Urgot and lane swap scenarios. Yeah, like, I think the FlyQuest swap's good. Again, I think that they're drafting top lane champions to really think about their strength in swaps, and they're playing for it really well. Again, the NA teams have been committed to playing out a swap 3 lanes from level 1, and I that hasn't really been talked about yet, but I think it's really, really good. I think that this is the way that you should play out swaps. Okay, so Inspired's going to do Dragon. Whereas Doran, he did hit 6 first. Blippo has to catch this wave. Him being here is a little bit dangerous, but bot's in. Yeah, I think Blippo should have TP'd back there. I know he just hit 6, but yeah, there's no way for Blippo to play this one out. I think Blippo's best bet is Eing here. Yeah, because he's able to ER and then, or EQ and then R. I think that's his best bet, but once the Q is sidestepped by Doran, it's already cooked. And Blippo's no flash, so the real thing is that Doran has a nice trade here. Doran's Jax has been good. So I think Blippo, if he's like able to TP back, I mean, that's preferable. But the wave's already kind of deep. Anyway. Yeah, so this is an oopsie from Blippo for sure. And he was out on a lot of the wave and a lot of his lead, which is a bummer. And Inspired's on the other side of the map, so yeah. Yeah, they were. FlyQuest were close. Blippo does sometimes take very cooked trades, yes. Quad missed the ground here. If the ground hits, it's actually big. Also, Quad runs the best Cassio skin. Fight me. Mythic Cassio is where it's at. Oh, Blippo plays like the jungler doesn't exist at times. What happened here? Oh, so HLE decided to swap on timer that's not super fantastic. And again, Inspired is getting able to contest grubs off this because of they got bot prio and Busio walk. So well done. This is well done from FlyQuest. They got Drake 2-for-1 grubs, and I mean the kills that they gave up weren't ideal, but I think FlyQuest, their map play has been solid. Good try from Quad if he Zeka had the react. And then Blippo just takes the highway men's walk back, and he's going to catch bot for the most part, so not bad. At least they're able to match top. They feed Masu another big wave, which is unironically pretty good. I will say the Kalista definitely has risen in prio in this tournament because, I mean, you really empower your support. And in some of the games where some of the higher damage dealers have been taken out, Kalista can function against melee teams. And also in these games where fights are going longer, you just, stack up the pin cushions. Not to mention, again, empowering your support. Like, it's all engaged support meta. Giving Rel Kalista ult can be really big sometimes. Oh, that hurts. I mean, Quad's trying to calculate it. Like, he does have flash, right? Yeah, I mean, if that E kills a creep, or like if he's able to E kill a creep, I think he does get out. I mean, if anything, maybe instead of Eing, I know that you heal with Conquer, but like if you E this creep while it's on ground, you might be able to get some health back. But I think ultimately you just flash the ult. Or you gotta, yeah, you just burn the flash. Yeah. Also, I will say for solo queue, I really like running Ghost on Cassiopeia. Ooh. Because A, she really abuses move speed, and B, sometimes you can find an angle. Busio missed ult here, which is bad. Doran does have flash, but like he just doesn't hit either. Cubby, did you hear Masu voice comms telling Blippo to quit being emotional? It's so fucking base. I mean, Masu knows. I did not hear that, but that's alright. Yeah, I mean, again, like the early game, too many things went wrong early for the FlyQuest early game for them to turn what ended up being a good team comp in their mid game around. Like, if hostile takeover hits here in any way, shape, or form, it is close enough where Masu might be able to actually get Doran. I think at times they play their comp out well. But yeah, early game was not, like, they're getting game down by HLE early, for sure. Alt Busio first and Busio ults on knockup? Yeah. I mean, Masu's mechanics have always been good. I'm just going to throw that out there. He's just landing better. This guy's actually, like, this guy's good at the game. Hey, what's up, PP Doc? Good to see you. I'm early, man. You're not late. All right, so HLE gets 4 grubs off this. Moss's play this world has confirmed the take I had about him being the best rookie year ever for NA. Yeah, I mean, in a way, yeah. I think it was better than Danny's. But Danny's was kind of weird because it was a summer into a spring, right? Yeah, this guy is good. I'm really happy for Masu. Yeah, he was very talented in Challengers League, and he's grown and excelled so much. It's really impressive. Yeah, he was on a better team. I mean, honestly, that's a little bit contentious. Thanks for the gifted sub, PB Doc. It's nice of you, Tianya. Jizuke was a coin flipper. Like, when JoJo came in, I think that roster was unironically better. Like, JoJo had some issues, but you had Vulcan Impact to kind of take the role of the Blippo Inspired. Oh, and you still had Inspired on that team, too. And then they won immediately. No, Masu's Kaisa is ridiculously good. There's a clip, the clip where I said, get out of my league in NACL and Summer Split of last year was him on Kaisa. He just had the most ridiculous Kaisa game. Anyway, FlyQuest has at least been able to stabilize a bit by playing out 3 lanes. That is quite nice for them. As Peanut tries to play for 2 crashes here, but he can't get around the corner. It's kind of hard. Thoughts on Mad Jojo? Is that a thing? I mean, I think that Jojo, unfortunately, might go EU. Which I will be mad about. If Jojo goes EU, I'm mad. I think props to FlyQuest, though, like, by stabilizing the map, they've gotten Inspired Farm. Again, Inspired on the Amumu wants to be to 2 items. Like, the FlyQuest comps, the ones they've been playing, they really want to play to 2 items plus. And a lot of them, it's like figuring out how to get there, right? Like, this is good. There's nothing that Yone can fucking do into this. I really like this play. The only issue is that by blowing the flash ult now, you don't really have that up for the dragon, but that's okay. And then, yeah, Bwipo tries here. I mean, honestly, ends up being a lot closer than what I thought. Like, unironically, if Bwipo... if he E-flashes Viper, then he probably goes down, right? But, yeah. And Cassio's getting banned in the next series, potentially. Yeah, that's true. Jojo is not Spanish. Alright, so Inspire gets walked down again. He's down flash, down ult. And Amumu was kind of doggy champ without those things. But we have the turn. So FlyQuest ended up getting a TP in. Again, I like what FlyQuest did in this sequence. Like, they kill Zeka, they play out the lane. Yes, on the flip side, Inspired is basing on a ward, so he ends up staying too long. I don't blame it. I mean, honestly, if Inspired is going to base here, he could have walked up and hit instead of walking down. Because if you walk up, then you still might get flash ulted by Peanut, right? But at least he has this vision, and if he walks up and he sneaks into this brush, he should be fine. Also, you have a plant here that he can hit and use that to base somewhere. Unfortunately, bases on a ward. The team is deploying through mid, and that is spotted. Like, I mean, the other mistake is that he should have canceled it here and then moved to the turret. Like, this is really, really good by Peanut, actually. Peanut was really good in this series. He was. But the commit, it's a 4v5, but Quad gets in early, and they're able to have a really good fight. Oh, wait. It's a close fight. It's not a good fight. I thought this fight was really close to going well, actually, for FlyQuest, because the opener for Quad is nice. Busio kind of botched this fight a little bit. Because, like, Peanut is... Yeah, I mean, Peanut is somewhat gettable. I mean, this is close for FlyQuest. Like, their waves aren't terrible. So it's good they fixed their waves before that, but they do lose Dragon off of it. Again, I thought that the opener to this would have been okay for FlyQuest. This whole sequence just starts because Inspired didn't get his base off, so they aren't able to fight on that timer. Cassio positioning was horrible. I mean, it's the TP into the defend, though. You can argue that, like, TPing on Blippo might have been a little bit better, but yeah, Cassio ends up being stuck. You can also argue that maybe if Cassio kills this wave, they're able to chill. Like, Blippo doesn't have to take this. Cassio could kill the next wave, and then they can actually play for the fight. Because they can connect. I think that's actually the right answer. Cassio TPs the turret, steps up, kills wave, and then FlyQuest just play this slow and try and connect with Cassio after. It would have been a 4v5, though, which is why I think that they TP'd in and took the fight now. So, like, besides that, I mean, maybe if Cassio's TPing now, right? So you could say if Cassio TP's now on the wave, then it's better instead of the turret. So, like, if Quad TP's here, then, I mean, it's not bad, but honestly, like, I'm kind of down to just, like, I think Inspired's dead. I think this should have been no TP, and we should have just played this out. Just play to get Cassio farm, drop this, fix mid, fix top, play that out, reset, and then you get a timer with Amumu up. So I think FlyQuest's a little bit ambitious taking this fight, in hindsight. But they do legitimately have a look where they would have a 4v3 in between towers. Viper's the one that breaks it with a Kaisa. So I don't think it's like god-awful terrible. But yeah. Yeah, they could all, like, honestly, I think if Cassio has flash, like, I think this fight is kind of winnable. Just fizzle? Yeah, I kind of think so too, or got to be nothing. Or got to be kidding. I'm kind of with you there too. This is fine from Whippo. They could have had a look, and he's going to catch the majority of that next wave, so. It's side steps. I mean, Zeka just kind of goes Narnia here, unfortunately. Nice side steps from Blippo. I could maybe argue that Zeka could wait a little, like just a hair to throw out R until the Sejuani R goes past, but he was in E form, so yeah. I still just appreciate, like, I mean, dropping stuff early is kind of fine. I don't know what this walk was from Blippo. I know he kills a ward. I just think they should catch bot. He still has TP up. It's fine. He doesn't lose a ton, but I FlyQuest catching a bunch of shit's fine. The HLE comp cannot siege. They want to take fights in jungle. So FlyQuest are able to at least catch and scale. Nice. Well played here from HLE to keep inspired out. Just want to see how they, like, what they started this off of. I could argue that Quad could play this wave right now. I think Quad actually playing this wave is something that might have been okay. I don't think Quad has to drop that wave top and wait for it. It is coming in either way, but by waiting for it, it does delay the complete Baron contest. And FlyQuest are kind of like stuck up here, and they do it to themselves, but they end up being completely stuck up here. And then Busio, like right as he bases, which is not spotted by the way, they just do this, which is a little bit unlucky. Busio was out of wards and did have an item, so I think this base is like it's not terrible. It's a good start by HLE, for sure. And yeah, this is all good. Yeah, like the fight's really, really good. Yeah, like this fight from FlyQuest is so good, guys. Really, really well played to Inspired, who hits the R flash. Busio is already prepping the R, and Busio's R is good because he's trying to protect Urgot. So it ends up being really large. And the flash fall on the Viper, he can't play the game. Yeah, no, I mean this comp's fun. The one thing about the Yone is that it is really tough to team fight into this. Like, you definitely need a QSS and or Mikhail's on the team, because the Amumu can just press R and kind of fuck you. It is fun to watch. Like, you just have to have your timers up, because HLE can play on timers that like this, right? Like, again, Amumu, no flash, no ult, you're piss useless. So HLE have more timers to play on, but if FlyQuest have their shit up, then their timer is really, really strong. I don't exactly know how Inspire was there on Gromp, but yeah, that hurt. Moya. I mean, FlyQuest as a team, and regardless of what you think of the individuals, like all 5 people overperformed in this series, based on what the expectation was. So I mean, it's fun. Like I said, this was the most hope I had for the West since 2016. I don't think it's going to be our best year since 2014. I mean, it's probably going to be our best year as a West, like or as NA since 2014. I mean, I guess C9 did make semis, so 18 was better. Because I don't think we have a team that makes semis, but oh, we'll see. Core of this comp's the Casio pick. I think a little bit of it is actually a Moo. Because I think that the jungle would change this a lot. This was goofy. I mean, again, like the Yone can't move. Yeah, Mumu does. I mean, Mumu enables everyone, but I think it's the core just because everyone's melee, and his R is just the strongest button in this game that exists. I mean, this is a good fight from FlyQuest. Like, things are split, and Zeka got chunked so hard early he can't play. So, as long as FlyQuest is bunched up as a group, it's really tough for Viper to go in. And FlyQuest gets to run him down. So, well done. Kaise has 3 items, which that's the one piece of range advantage that HLE have over FlyQuest. We'll talk about 3-item Kaise on a game later today, and then this is just an oopsie. This is a little bit split from FlyQuest. I don't know if they want to play this in or not, and this is ridiculous. Yeah. That's Viper. Do you think NA improves year by year beyond this, looking at this year's performance? I hope so. I mean, we'll see. The angle on the hostile takeover is pretty poor. For what this? It got a flash. I honestly, like, at this, like, you can't, if you throw it here, then Zeka gets in the fight. The one poor thing, like, if you want to say it's poor, it's because I want Fate's Call into it. If you go Fate's Call into it, then you can guarantee it, pretty much. Yeah, I think that the Fate's Call should be coming out, and then the hostile takeover. Regardless, though, they are able to find some stuff. Yeah, I mean, this is bad for Masu. I mean, I think they're split on, like, whether or not they want to play this next wave. If they want to play it, they should play it. They should play it as 3. And I honestly think that Blippo should play this wave with them. I think the 3 of them should play this wave in. I really do. I think he's going to look for Yone, but, like, Yone would have no ult and no flash, so. No, 2014 NA was better. Yeah, I think they need to play that in as 3. But I also don't think that Masu needs to step in front of the wave and eat that. And Viper turned it into a 1v2, which was nasty, so. And now Viper has Seekers, so that's a problem. That hurt a lot. I mean, NA's playing nothing but or anything but the meta. I think they're just more willing to play shit that they know works. I saw Quad do this, and I audibly was like, what? I don't know if Inspired needs press R here. Obviously, they're planning to save Blippo, who does have Sterix going. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have. The flash from Viper is pretty good, but again, he goes down. I mean, I don't know what happened with HLE here. Like, let's think about... I mean, I'm in a replay, so I can't see the... I mean, I think Peanut can go for the full combo. They just get baited by the Urgot and the Sterix. I guess they just didn't think Urgot would be that tanky, and Viper never really got in, so... Yes. Good shit, FlyQuest. I mean, they've played the early game was bad. They played the rest of the game really well. Yeah, the early game wasn't great, but they have to wait for their comp to come online. They've done that, and they're actually getting winning fights now. So yeah. I think giving the number 1 seed for LCK a very significant, like legitimate run for their money is far from bad. Even if there are still aspects of the game that aren't good. Hmm. Yes, the Grump. I mean, this is too bad because like FlyQuest are playing out a really nice game, and then this pick just kind of led to the demolition of the team. Yeah, I mean this ward being there from like this ward was hidden, right? With Doran stealing the blue. I guess it like it's spotted, so you could reason that there's a ward there, but it is Jax. Jax doesn't is less likely to use wards, and the game hasn't been in this portion of the map for a while, so but like Whippo doing this with no flash, I mean it ends up hurting a lot. Yeah, because then Masu gets caught, and then it's a 1-by-1. Uh, and FlyQuest are still down their flashes from the last fight. So, like, this is just the worst timer for FlyQuest to fight because no one has flash, and then they're stuck, and then it gets... They just lose from this. Yeah. It was I mean, it ends up being a sack Whippo play. They commit, and the Amumu's late. Also, like, the Amumu's really split. It's like Masu gets split from Inspire. The Inspire gets split from Quad. Like, and they, yeah. I mean, it's just a really tough, really bad terrain for FlyQuest to take that fight, and like it's too bad. The game is very winnable from this moment. It really is. If FlyQuest reset, dragons in 2 minutes, like there's literally no objectives on the map. They get their flashes up, they can fight, and they just don't have flashes in this fight. HLE does, and they just get mauled. Yeah, I don't know. Just a bummer. I mean, again, this game was like I think very winnable for FlyQuest. They just get caught. It's bad. Yeah, I mean, they definitely lose shit if they do that, but yeah. All right, anyway, that's game 1. Game 2. All right, another fun draft. Same bans. New ban, Yone being taken away. What was denied last time? Oh, wait, no, new bans, new bans. No Renekton, but they're still going to deny Renekton with B1. And then Yone is taken away. What was denied last time from them? Actually, we did this a few times this game. No, I had a tempo, just skipping in and going for unwarded area for pick. Yeah, I mean, it's a good play. Yeah, no, yeah, they could have definitely still won if Whippo just dropped. There was nothing up on the map for that, so yeah. Mm. All right, let's talk about this draft though. Let me go back real quick though. I want to see what. Yeah, I'm gonna go check that. Shit, sorry. In this section, gotta talk it. Calling it down. Oh, Ziggs. So they Renekton gets dropped for Cassio, and then we drop the Ziggs for the Yone. That's all fine. That's all fine. All right, sorry. Renekton first picked ends up being Callista Olaf. Olaf being blinded here into Croc is, I think, pretty funny. I think it's a little bit early for Olaf, but I also will say that HLE picked terrible champs into Olaf, given that Olaf is picked here in the draft. So, like, Zyra, Ezreal, Olaf really likes being in this scenario because the CC from Zyra just doesn't matter. And Ezreal has no real damage to actually kill Olaf, even if Viper is insane. Then the Hui, you get to play with some range. I think the Hui is just a decent blind here, honestly. They always get the Smolder Band to protect. Braum gets taken away from the Ezreal. I didn't really... I guess I kind of get the Braum pick, given that they did end up going Nunu. But I don't think that they banned Braum thinking they were going to go Nunu. I think they banned it thinking they were going to go Leona. But yeah, I think that Braum set up Leona. Smolder as it's a really good pick for Zeka. Nunu being picked here. The Nunu pick is the like really interesting thing because obviously, I mean, A, it's Nunu, but B, I know that Nunu was played into Ivern. So I was asked on the prize picks thing, like, hey, what champs have we not seen at Worlds yet that we would want to see? I unironically, like, because Ivern was getting played, I was like, maybe we see a Nunu. Things are okay for Nunu right now. You just go Shen build. Yeah, I know. I wish I said it. I said something else that I think did get played. Like Xin and Nunu being played were champs that I thought we'd see at Worlds, and it was kind of fun to see him. The Nunu is... I was really surprised to see Nunu here, obviously. But again, in theory, it's a way to, like, no one can eat the engage yet for HLE, and then you cannot get killed by Ezreal. And you get a lot of lane pressure to help. And already in this game, if we get Olaf to late game, it's fine. If we get Callista to late game, it's fine, because this cannot kill those champions. This cannot kill these champions. Also, the Yasuo, like the wind wall coming out, yeah, Yas was just not it. Like, Yas already doesn't want to play into Olaf, and then Leona comes in too. It's brutal. Because the 5-second stun is really valuable. I continue to think the Poppy Sport's fake, even if Delight played it actually decently well this game. But yeah, I mean, everything that is in this comp just gets munched by Olaf that was picked on too. So I think this draft ended up being really good for FlyQuest, partly because HLE drafted for their own demise. Now, the one thing that HLE does really well is that Olaf scales off the amount of econ that's just he can get, right? So the fact that they do everything they can to deny the Olaf and slow it down early on was big and almost got HLE the win. But once Olaf gets online, it's really tough. Okay. Anything of interest? No. The runes are, like, starting to get kind of standard. Anyway. Alright, it's Nunu time. Damn, Yanya said that someone's always whining. That's crazy. I missed the draw show. Did they draw the 2-2 matchups already? No, because they still have to play the games tomorrow. Yeah. Anyway, it's standard lanes. I think the standard lanes are really good for FlyQuest this game. You don't want Olaf in the lane swap scenario. You want Olaf getting econ, and I prefer the Callista Leona lane because Poppy is fake, even if Poppy can neutralize Leona early. You always have plays as the O2, like the Q flash can be really good. Cubby streaming at normal times, Pog. Yeah, I know. It's kind of amazing. Really nice fear here by Quad. And then the Nunu gets involved. So Nunu clears very fast. Zeka is able to sneak out, but still, it's a nice gank because Inspired ends up getting the flash, which is pretty easy to do on Nunu. So well done. It's a lot of help for Quad. He will TP back, but still nice. Yeah, this is where things get hard because Blippo, he doesn't have R yet. Nunu did show mid, and this clear from Zyra. Zyra went to base, going to skip over Gromp, and then Peanut just goes straight top to dive. This is really, really good from Peanut and HLE. This is like the way to play into Olaf. Yeah, they just completely chain it up. And yeah, Blippo gets the shield down. He's going to clear out some more of the wave, but that's all I can hope for. He did at least get Doran Flash, which is a small perk, but really, really good idea of what to do this game for HLE, which is to go set this Olaf back in the Narnia. Because Renekton can bully Olaf for quite a bit of the game. The issue is that HLE ends up fucking up one fight, which gives Olaf a lot of gold, and Olaf just slingshots back and just destroys them. Because then the HLE comp is not good into Olaf. The Yasuo ended. Zeka said in an interview that it was a coach pick and not his pick, and that he didn't want Yasuo, and he is right. I do not know which interview that was. I would like to give credit to them if I knew. Yasuo can play off of Poppy R, but yes, the Yasuo wasn't great this game. It probably should have just been Trist, even if Trist is not as good. Anyway. Grubs end up being the trade that is, and then, yeah, they just go munch Peanut more. Or Peanut goes to munch Olaf more. Yep, that's all I can do. Again, really, really good direction from HLE. And, yeah, I think that looking back at this game, if there was a way to get Busio or Inspired to cover one of these dives, that might have been really big. Because, like, if Nunu's there and buys time for Olaf, we see what the new Olaf does later on in this this game. Because the upfront engage and the slows that come down from Nunu buy a ton of space for Olaf. Yeah, I didn't like the pick. I did not like the pick at all. I feel like HOE's draft as a whole self-countered themselves when they saw this Olaf on 2. And this is great from FlyQuest. Again, Doran, he got the flash on the first dive. They're able to punish it in the end. They get the kill over to Blippos, so that is really big. Doran can TP back and catch most of this, but still just buying a little bit of space, time, and econ for Blippo is really good. This was really good. Can't Windwall block Snowball if Snowball is not attached yet? Zeka's able to get around the wall. We'll play by him. And yeah, that's the Snowball down. And top lane got a little bit pushed out here. Not really. But Peanut is really strong right now with the Leandries. So I just don't think the FlyQuest wants to fight with Peanut showing the Leandries, and I can't blame them for that. So I thought this is a good call to not fight, but FlyQuest ends up losing across the map because Blippo gets stunned up and dies. He did not have Ragnarok up yet, so Blippo playing a little bit too far up in this lane. He gets caught in the corner. Yeah, so if Blippo just doesn't walk on the corner of the wall here, then he doesn't die. But the fact that he walked into Renekton on the corner means that he just dies and Doran takes him. So we'll play Doran. Really like how Doran is weaving in autos before he uses his abilities. That's just really good league mechanics, but Doran made it look really nice there. Like the auto Q, auto E Just maximizing your damage is Renekton. Well played. So the shift from there is that Hui actually ports bot, and they have Olaf port mid. So they do get Olaf into Yasuo, who just cannot move into Olaf. So I do like how FlyQuest do this, even if it kind of fucks their dragon a little bit. We have Busio try and go in. They get the E from Viper and the W from Delight. So Busio tries to follow it up a little bit. And then he flashes on the Peanut. Whippo is here. The first Q miss, that hurt. But they're at least able to get something on the Olaf. And Masu flashes. And while this is going on, guys, like, Doran does get pushed off from bot lane. So I think it's actually a decent play. Like, for me, this is worth it for FlyQuest. I think it's a good opportunistic look from Blippo, unironically. Like, I think that they can win with Olaf here. They get a TP out, which is big. They push Renekton off bot, which is big. They get away some free time, which is nice. And Olaf got a kill, which is huge. Masu gets fucked from this, but it ends up being okay. And like they still get Drake from all this too, which is really big from Inspire. So that was a really good sequence from FlyQuest. Should Masu ulti Leona sooner for the engage? Honestly, no, because I think they need to wait for Blippo. And then they see or catch when the TP's coming in. Yeah, no, the Yasuo's really bad this game. You just get absolutely just munched by. I think the Masu could have pulled the trigger earlier because they could have set up Busio ult in the queue from Blippo, so I can't see that. I can't see that. I think that's a good point, actually. So I think overall, like, the Masu Busio ults with the Callista just can't be sooner. I don't know who that's on or not, but it can be sooner. I thought HLE's staff is chuckling there, but I still don't really think that's super good for them. Like, losing the Mountain Dragon is actually really big for FlyQuest. And then, again, they're starving out some decent members, and here we get a really nice chunk on a Renekton. Now, Doran's able to get out because he's Renekton. But they do at least get the flash. Like, Doran plays this well, but they still have a couple waves now where Renekton got starved out on Econ. And again, the Olaf is all about the Econ of this game. They find the Yasuo in the side lane. And they end up turning this, which, that sucked. We got styled on here. The flash from Zeka is really good. And the knockout from Zeka is really good. The fact that he didn't take the first one to R was really good, actually. If he does that, he gets rooted on the back half. And then he dodges out on the second axe. And then, oh. That was really wet from Zeka. That was really wet from Zeka. Then they get what? This goes over to Busio, which is a bit of a stinker. But it's the right play. So we live with that. I think Masu actually E'd early. If he lets the auto connect first, then E's, he gets that kill in a chunk, or that damage in a chunk, and he gets it. So that's kind of on Masu. But that's a really nice play from FlyQuest, and this is where FlyQuest like really got back in the game. And again, this is awful Blippo's Olaf. So yes, they lose Herald. But keep in mind, they've kind of been delaying the Renekton, and then Zeka's no ult, and they're going to pour it in and get him. Yeah, and it goes over to Quad, so some really nice shutdowns being picked up by FlyQuest. Rift gets mid, but I think it's kind of whatever. Again, FlyQuest, like, I think they kind of have to play for kills in the drop shit. They dropped a lot from this, though. Like, they did lose their last 2 outers from this. Not a bad shutdown. Doran stayed. Doran. Oh yeah, this is the moment. Yeah, Doran should not have hit this wave. If Doran like doesn't hit this wave, like if he wants this wave, by the way, he needs to take this wave high. He needs to walk past the turret, kill this wave, and then let the turret live, which would have been one play. Instead, he tries to kill the turret and take the wave, which is bad. Because he just doesn't have the timer on the map. Zeka's dead. Top's being shoved in. He should have let that wave go. If he lets that wave go, it's actually shoving into HLE. So that's a pretty big mistake from Doran. And then obviously he's like, I can get out. I just poured against Nunu, which is hilarious. And then Poppy actually jumped on Olaf there, so yeah. And then Doran just does. And another big kill going over to Masu. And FlyQuest lose nothing for that. So like they end up losing a couple turrets, but honestly picking up the kills. They can get the standing gold hopefully later. The comp scales, and they got gold. I got kills on all 3 of their carries in that sequence and 2 shutdowns. That's pretty big. I would actually take that as FlyQuest if I'm scaling, you know. Why better than people thought or HLE worse than people thought? I'm going to say both. I think HLE draft, especially this game, didn't respect what FlyQuest was showing early. And didn't respect them in the game. But FlyQuest are for sure better than what we thought. This is a really good formation for FlyQuest too, by the way. I think they played up to top a little bit too hard. FlyQuest have a habit. A lot of their deploys are actually through top, which makes sense to me because the map is safe here if you're going to walk from top down. So like they'll play out top wave, then they'll just walk down because top has more walls now after the season remake, or bigger walls. So you end up being safer as like you play your way into the map, especially from red side because of the Baron wall existing. And like because of that, yes, they drop a bit of a bot wave, but Blippo did TP, so they actually catch it. And then they're here first. Because I think Viper... Yeah, they're just here in time for the wave. Like, this is not on Viper at all. They're forced to respond to top, and then they shift everyone mid. They have to respond to mid, and they have first say on Drake. This is actually a good setup from FlyQuest. This is a really, really nice objective play. They burned the TP for it, but I like it a lot. Like, Quad's in a good spot. Blippo's zoning off the right person. Lucio's in front. And then they're just going to hit the objective because it's Nunu Callista, so it's just fuck you. That said, Nunu does get hit out, and yeah. So that's well played by Delight. Busio was trying to cancel this with the Solar Flare, and Delight ended up buffering it and getting it through. So, if anything, I think that if this is going to happen, I do think Inspired needs to backstep. So for me, this is actually a little bit uninspired. I think if he backsteps, you would have been out of range, and the Solar Flare cancels the Pop ER. And then Blippo is going to go in, but he's a little bit split. Redemption doesn't connect. They had a setup through bot. They just decided to play through mid. They didn't play through bot. I think if they dropped mid wave, then they could have played through bot. But the Blippo TP and then them responding to mid is why they didn't have a good setup. And yeah, the fight afterwards ends up going FlyQuest way. Because Masu has a great fight. Busio and Quad do a great job appealing for Masu. And then Delight doesn't. He goes on Quad. Because they hit Quad, and then you just get fucking Nunu Leona as Yasuo. And the Callista, if you don't... Like, Callista in these longer fights, Callista's really risen in priority, but just the stacking of the spears, if you don't deal with Callista early on, really big. And Callista's been running some of these fights. Yeah, I mean, I think Delight might have been going for Masu, unironically. But Delight went for Quad. I don't know which was right. Anyway. I'll get back to live, and Peanut does have flash, but 5-second Q from Leona is nice. Peanut dies. I don't know how that happened. I really wish I did. Peanut was trying to retake the map, ends up going down. It's really big for FlyQuest. Again, like FlyQuest being within 1.5k gold, and with this draft, and with Olaf being even on item, like Olaf is only down a pickaxe and a null magic mantle to Renekton. He's only down 1k gold to Renekton. That's exactly where you want to be in this game. They don't get to light here. I think that this was... There's nothing else for FlyQuest to do here. Ooh. Actually, the Hui was trying to go catch bot. It would have been better if that happened. This is not a great call. This is not respecting the tempo in the map for FlyQuest. They did get Viper sums, though, so that is kind of useful. Yeah, honestly, bot wasn't pressured because Delight didn't or Doran didn't stay. So that's worth. Hui loses a little bit bot, but honestly, taking both sums away from Viper, I think is worth. Yeah, Yasuo is useless in this draft for sure. Now we start the Baron, and this is the insane call from FlyQuest, and this is where HLE just really don't respect the Nunu. So Hui's bot, there's no TP on quad. They're gonna start Baron. On that logic, it's a decent call for HLE. But Peanut ults to burn, and Inspired's already here. And dodges out on Keeper's Verdict. And then he is Nunu, so he has a 2400 smite. Masu runs this one. But they end up getting the Baron. Masu is just a global bait to get the Yasuo in, guys. It's fine. So Masu gets one shot. Busio ends up keeping everyone, though, on Hui. So the quad E, or the damage here, and of course the Nunu got the Baron, because he just Q-smite. And Blippa was helping. This quad, QE, and the Busio ult out of Fate's Call keeps everyone on this. So you end up eating a lot of inanimate damage from the Hui. And then a lot of cooldowns are down. And this Olaf is just able to go crazy. And again, like, they did a really nice job, FlyQuest did, of getting Olaf back in the game with Econ. And if Olaf is rolling, Olaf runs this game. Olaf ends up, again, this champ just purely scales off Econ. Wait, did the win wall not cancel this? No, it did not. If the W has to release for win wall to cancel it. I know Busio dies. I think that this, like, the attempt was worth. Like, it ends up not being great, but I'm totally down for this. I really am. The win wall blocked all the damage from quad, guys. If quad gets around this win wall, I didn't even realize that. It caught the root and the QE. Zeka's dead for sure if quad gets the damage around the win wall. So I know Busio's down. I think that's fully worth if you get Zeka flash and the kill. Fly with Sum's advantage for the fight. If Viper has flash, that goes way different. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Masu's really stuck here. So, like, where Masu approaches him and Busio, their positioning need to be flipped here. Like, Busio has to stand in the choke, and Masu needs to wait. But Busio is using the Blascone to get out. Yeah, I think Busio Blascone the wrong way. He needs to walk in with Masu. Because if Busio's further up, it's just better. Anyway. Next fight, because, you know, all we're doing is fighting here. Olaf just fucking munches the Zyra and the Yasuo, because Olaf is Thanos this game. And it's Blippo Global Taunt. It's back, baby. Yeah, he had the Sterix too. Yeah, again, like Olaf in this game with Stridebreaker, you munch. Base Stridebreaker this game too. As long as Olaf can keep up and keep autoing, that's how he scales. Because there is significant CC that can help delay Olaf if Ragnarok is not running. But if he is able to keep on autoing, it's big. And it was really big this game. Boston Bomber. I mean, again, they get Viper Cleanse worth. So good job. And Blippo being on this angle is really good, just preventing any flanks. If anyone walks into Olaf, then he presses R, he gets Redemption, and he gets the Fist. What happened here? Nunu taunt. I mean, it's a really nice chain down the Doran. Yeah, just he gets chained up. And then it's a fuck you Baron, because it's going to be a 4K smite with Kalista Nunu. So no chance. I mean, the power of this is really big. The fact that the Yona got Baron at 1 HP is hilarious, by the way. Doran to get baited a little bit, but again, Renekton can't interact with Nunu very well. Because Nunu is just too tanky, and there are a lot of ways to hold Renekton down. Like, the roots, the slows, the W is really tough for Renekton to play through. And so, yeah, FlyQuest, fuck you, Dragon now. And by this time, FlyQuest are fully in control of the game. By the way, I love the Inspired build. Inspired's build, really good this game. The Terminus, really good from Masu for third item. I'm a fan. I think it should be that or Randuin's, and I like the Terminus, because he needs to pump. And steel caps across the board minus the Nunu, which I like a lot because Nunu's going to be frontline. And then Zeka just gets munched. Wait, this knockup from Delight, by the way, it does get Masu out, but that would have been Zeka's alt target, so then he can't alt target. This game should have ended here, but Blippo kind of decides to go for Viper. If Blippo, he doesn't have TP, but like if Blippo does back off, they get Doran for free. I know Doran still goes down, but he can just play for Doran. Yeah, actually, honestly, if he kills Viper, I think the game is winnable. So it looks bad, but I don't think it's god-awful terrible. It ends up being god-awful terrible. Honestly, good try here from Busio. The Delight tanking this for Viper, like Viper stepping back is big. Yeah, he waits it out and then executes. Yeah, Viper getting out of that is ridiculous. I mean, Viper is so fucking good, man. Viper has been so good this tournament. This guy is so inhuman. Can Yasuo catch out of Poppy and Akaway, keeping them from being yeeted? It's hard. But no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you have to, like, initially R. Because, like, you go untargetable when this happens. Like, there are only so many things that, like, keep you in. One of them being Poppy W1, ironically. I mean, he's rooted here, so he can't even R. So, yeah, he was rooted by the Nunu. Viper's floor and ceiling are both high. This guy's just too fucking good at the game. He's so good. Yeah, 100%. He's so good. I think Viper on his... I think Viper can be the best AD in the world on a good day for him. This guy, he's elite. There's no other way to put it with Viper. Whether he's number one or not, I'm sure that could be a fun discussion, but he's elite. He's in my top tier of ADs. No questions asked. And honestly, he's probably number one. Anyway, his Ezreal is the one thing that, like, Ezreal can reach critical mass, but it's not, like, I think there are too many things for FlyQuest that can deal with Ezreal. And it's just so tough for Ezreal to get through Nunu Olaf, especially with this Nunu build. And again, it's just fuck you Barons all day. And this fight I found so funny, because, like, Olaf with Quad Soul, by the way, Quad Soul was a great draw for FlyQuest this game. And Doran just goes in, but literally Olaf just solo zones everyone. He just solo zone 4, and then Busio goes in a little bit hard. That was an oopsie from Busio. I mean, you gotta fight off the Olaf timers, and he didn't keep his ult running, so... Yeah, oopsie from Busio. Yeah, Viper was best AD in LCK. I agree. Pei is very good, but I had Viper overpays, for sure. And Yasuo can't do anything. Delight finds a good one here on the quad, honestly. But the big thing here is that Zeka, again, is rooted, so he can't follow up. And then when he tries, the EQ NATO just misses quad. And then, yeah, he gets knocked up and traded out. But the Nunu front line's too big. And then, again, Blippo just gets to fucking feast. And then Viper is just doing his damnedest, man. What are this Elder? Flashes the blast cone, like, oh my god. I love seeing the FlyQuest staff just like laugh. I mean, it is a new game. If you're not laughing, like, what are you doing? Gotta head back to work, Cubby. Maybe catch you later. Hey, PP Dog, thanks for hanging out as always, man. Appreciate you. Go Ravens. By the way, before you go, PP Doc, nearly went to the Ravens Chargers game on the 25th. I'm gonna be home because my mom's birthday is the next year or the next day. But I have some friends going to that. I think Hawk will go because Ben, Hawk, and then Manny, who are friends of mine and people that are around in the space, they're both from the area and are both Ravens fans. That would have been a fun one though. Herbert versus Lamar. Yeah, next year. Anyway, Elder Dragon and Olaf pressing R, and this game's over. Really nice draft from FlyQuest. They played their way back into this game really well. I think that FlyQuest actually made a couple good map plays. Did HLE play god awful terrible? I think they could have made some better decisions, but no, I think that they just didn't understand what the FlyQuest draft wants to do, and I think FlyQuest got the difference. And props to FlyQuest. They played the map well. I don't want to take away from them, because this is a game where you are going to fall behind and have to slingshot back. They did so pretty well. I mean, this could have legitimately been a 2-0 if that Gromp play doesn't happen. I mean, good shit from FlyQuest. They played their own shit. And they did well. All right. Time for game 3, though. Game 3 was a little bit tougher. I'm going to keep bans up. Because the bans changed here for FlyQuest. They denied Jax from Doran. And then we had Scrounder come out. All right, so game 3. Had the spin move on. It was nuts. That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, those Cincy games were good back then. All right, Skarner. What's one way to make sure you don't get nude? Pick Skarner. Honestly, a good adjustment. I'm gonna be honest. So Skarner picked up. Answer is Kaisa Vi. Ends up being the Zaya and the Silas. I will say I know that it's quad Cassio into Silas and Skarner. In theory, this is pretty good. Cassio is decent into this, but the Zaya is a little bit tricky. I would have liked if they ended up going Ahri a little bit better. I think you can play Ahri into Silas, and you have all the damage you need and the DPS you need from the Kaisa. So I would have preferred an Ahri here, but I'm not surprised to see the Cassio again. Of course, it is quad Cassio. So yeah. Anyway. Rakan and Alistar, again, denied from Delight. This time, the Leona being taken away from Busio. Like it was in game 1. We end up picking Row on 4. And it is Poppy and Gnar. The Gnar can't really win/move on sides. And Gnar is killable. Again, I think Ahri would have been really strong here. Because it's easier to attack the Gnar on sides. Ends up being a Scion. I mean, Scion, in this game, Scion can't die against this. There is something to be said for Scion. I actually really like the Scion pick this game. But the issue is that I think that FlyQuest were a little bit too one-dimensional and engaged in short range and DPS. And I would have preferred Ahri. I feel like Ahri in this comp would have been fine here and ends up giving them more options later. Because they actually, with the Vi Kaisa, have the ability to reach a pick like Zaya. And you could have, if you do go Ahri, you can drop Alistar for Poppy ban if you really care. which I think would have been good. But yet again, it is quad Cassio, so it is what it is. And yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think Cassio it's doable, but you get out interacted a bit like this and this. Yeah. I think their FlyQuest ends up being just a little bit too short range. Quad RE is good. I mean, I'm a quad fan. We actually had Fleet on Gnar this game, which I found interesting. It does help space some stuff against Sion, but I think it might be the first Fleet Gnar we've seen at the tournament. But says that standard for Zeka, standard. I like Butri. Same setup. And then this is a little bit different. Anyway. Yeah, I FlyQuest just feel really range gated for me, and Ari would give them more follow up with the Vi. I know everyone was like, "Oh, Sion and Vi," like for Blippo and Inspired, who were doing really well in this one, but I'm fine with Vi and Discarner, and I think the Sion's actually like really good this game. Because now, like, you get to get a swap where Blippo should be able to start in lane again. And we're going to play out the 3 waves from level 1, which is what FlyQuest has been doing and drafting for. Just to try and soak some experience. And like, Blippo is able to get this, because Poppy can't push him off the wave. And Zeka Silas is so good. I don't think Vi is good here. I mean, I think it's just okay. I think you could have Sejuani there, too. But it's hard to play carries in the Skarner unless you're going to go for like some sort of Zen. And Inspired is a very good Vi player. And Vi's decent against tanks, by the way. Like, this is a tankier comp. Denting Blow is nice. I think the issue that ended up happening this game is that Xayah is actually pretty tough for the Sion to deal with. Because all the feathers outrange Sion in the lane, and we never get out of this formation as FlyQuest. Like, we opted into this scenario. This is nice. Masu could have gotten this, by the way. I think if Masu plays to not space Doran and to go fuck to light. Also got creep blocked by Busio. I do think he could have gotten that. But yeah, that was expensive. Also, this missing was expensive. If that hits, then I think Inspire does get the kill. I didn't see if and when Viper E'd, because he does have feathers behind him. Oh, E on my screen's up in 5 seconds from here. So you guys can see it's at 4. I think that if Viper or Inspired hits this, he at least gets sums out of this. Cassio has some synergy. If you ground on top of Vyar, it's really good. It's just we're really range gated this FlyQuest. That's the only thing. Like here, I think they should have swapped the lanes back. I think here that you send the Psy on top and you just eat it and you swap back. But yeah. Instead, they already committed to sending the Kaisa back up. I think they're just scared of the 2v2, which I can't really blame them against Viper Delight, but I would have flipped it back there because Sion's really like I think the 1v1 and the 2v2 is actually quite fine. Was Ori up? No, Ori was banned. Ori was banned all series by HLE, which I think is correct. All right, now Xayah has a good base, and is swapping. This is good by Masu. They stacked up the big wave / slow push, but the issue is that Masu hasn't based in a long time, so his base is a lot worse. That's part of why in the here I think they should have switched the lanes back here. On this reset, they should have sent the Kaisa bot. Kaisa ends up getting jailed here. It ends up being a slow push, Masu bases, and then on that timer they just do grubs. So a little bit out of the control of FlyQuest, honestly, with how things panned out, because I do think that Masu needed the slow push to actually have the wave be big enough so he could base. But I think swapping the other timer was the right move for them. I mean, I think a Moomba gets tossed on like a ragdoll against Skarner. So I think like a Moomba pick's also kind of tough. It's Viper Zaya. He's too good at this champ. Blippo's doing a great job, though, holding this wave in front of Doran. And he actually has CS lead because A, Sion and Swap, good. And B, Blippo playing this really well with the freeze. So I really appreciate this from Blippo. Good understanding of Sion. He's a good Sion player. And then Busio, and unfortunately gets countered, ganked. But this was roughly spotted. Like, he warded and then went in. Or Masu warded and they went in. And this is a little bit desynced. So yeah, just snoops. That hurts. He wasn't trying to Void Seeker Viper there. He's trying to hit the creep. I think he just died early. I was surprised about how well Zeka did in this matchup, actually. I know there was a lot of discussion about how this game Quad should have went with the Andres rush, and I will say I agree. It's going to be a really tanky team, and I think having more damage early on is good for FlyQuest. But again, I think it should have been Ahri this game. I just think that FlyQuest are like fully committed to playing out scaling. I think they just think that's the best way they can win with the skill set their team has. Like Blippo just being the pressure soaker, and Inspired being Gigabrained, and then Masu team fighting. I just think that they are like, okay, they're like against the best teams in the world. Like this is just the best odds that we have to win. Nice jump from Doran. They get Blippo stuck. Good flash by Blippo, but ends up being followed up. And there's a counterplay bot side, but Viper fucking games all over FlyQuest here with Delight. Delight and Viper play this so well. They played this so well. The only note I have is that Masu should have split from everyone else when he dashed in. So I do think that if Masu's going to take this, then he should go here. Because he does get caught out by everything. And then the flash. This is a good flash from Masu, but it's just better from... Like, he has to. It's just guessed. And it's a good try from Busio too to get him out. But yeah, Viper's just too good. Oh my god. We're going to replay this one. I think that Masu R should have been north. Like, northwest of Viper. We're still making this play. Like, look at the item differential too. It's already Reaver done for Viper. Because of the kill and where we're just at in this game, so... Again, I feel like FlyQuest keeping the lanes the way it was, it did get Viper really accelerated, and the fact that he got solo XP, and levels are really nice for Zaya, because like the points that you put in the Zaya's kit are really good up until level 13, because your W scales really hard, and your E does a lot of damage, so getting Zaya ahead in levels is actually good. Busio doesn't have flash, so Busio could have charged up Hex Flash. Him basing is poor. But yeah, so if this was better synced up, maybe the Hex Flash into the Q, into the Vi combo, or waiting to drop the first load until Vi hits. Yeah, I think waiting for Vi-R and then following up would have been better for Busio here, because he missed the shit. And the Void Seeker also didn't connect into the light, so that's a little bit delayed. But yeah. That's part of why I think Masu ported there, because they want to execute the light. But again, if we're ignoring the Zaya, it hurts, and that was really big. Really, really big. Okay. Man. Looking back, Busio didn't play as well as I thought he did in the series. I thought the Leona game was good, but... Been a few oopsies here. Yeah, no, Delight did play that really well. I don't want to take away from anyone when I say that Busio didn't play that as well as he could, but I do think you could have further, like, gotten a more guaranteed chain. All right, this is where I appreciate Blippo. I think that Blippo, after this Q, he needs to get out of range of the feathers. Because I think that he's doing this partly based on the ease. And also we're seeing Zaya Skarner be, like, a legitimate combo because of the rip. Like, the rip damage is really good. Reaver's still fine. I think that Blippo needs to play here to just get away from this. Because yeah, he takes too much damage from that rip, right? Now he doesn't have TP and he's going to gut it out. Yeah, and again. This is like the Zaya into Sion is quite good. So I don't know. Maybe it was an Ornn angle, but like then your lane swap's not quite as good for FlyQuest. So again, I know why they're running the Scion. It's for the lane swap. Yeah. Anyway, I gotta look at the other side of the screen. Because we end up knocking away the Cassio. And Quad has to TP back in. Which ends up not exactly being needed, but yeah. Good knock away on the Cassio from Delight. Delight, I hate Poppy Sport, by the way. I have major beef against Poppy Sport. It's talked about a lot on the stream, but Delight's Poppy was legitimately good. Like, Delight's Poppy is actually good. Yeah, I just think that the Scion and the Xayah, that lane assignment's not fine. Because you're so stagnant as Scion with the Q charge, and it's really easy for Viper to set up the feathers, get rips, and get winning trades when you can space. You can space the Q and still get the rips. I don't know if that's an oopsie for Masa or if he was scouting to see if he was going to get Doe from topside. I really don't. In terms of that Void Seeker. Xayah's not long range too. He's just not spacing well. It's impossible to space on Scion though. You stand still when you charge your Q. And like that's your only way to fight the wave going up against Xayah. So it's just free for Viper every time. Really nice double Herald here from HLE. I really like seeing Heralds be used between two lanes. It feels like HLE were beatable in the first two games. They just were not beatable in this game 3, unfortunately. Also, speaking of ruler, Xayah using or Viper using the Xayah skin. That's rulers. Yeah, Bwippo's got a flash out of the... Honestly, I was surprised that Bwippo flashed this. Because HOE is playing so hard on the bot side of the map. Like, we see the dragon get taken, and Bwippo is there, which is not the best spot. But with the Cassio here, I actually think that FlyQuest can win this. I actually think that with Cassio here, like, if Bwippo Rs, they can tap Delight. I know Delight has R, but with Scion R, you lock in the direction that the opponent is. So if Scion Rs and Delight is facing Cassio, then you can chain the two ultimates and try and one-shot. So I was a bit surprised that Bwippo flashed here, because I think if he keeps on like trying to play up or play back, he can try an R, either Poppy R or Poppy E, and they can chain it with Cassio. I know the Xayah is rotating, but I don't think it's the worst look in the world, because both Silas and Skarner were just on the bot side of the map. So yeah, I actually think that they might have been able to do something there. Yeah, Busio Inspired didn't look that great. I am a big Busio fan as well. I mean, again, I think Inspired, more of like Inspired's game. I like the failed kill on the bot side, like hurt a lot. I think Inspired, I don't think Inspired made terrible decisions in this game. I just think that things started to go south early as the Vi. And again, we're really range gated as FlyQuest, and it's kind of hard to follow up on Vi in some scenarios. This is, again, where I think that the Vi Ahri, like, I would have been very pro Vi Ahri. Unironically, by the way, in the Silas and Xayah, I think that... I know Vi was already taken, but I do think that Syndra was playable for quad too. I know I've been the biggest Syndra hater, but I do think that Syndra is actually playable in this scenario. For me, Silas Ahri is like kind of a handshake, and again, the Ahri Vi is just really nice to have. Xayah has decent defense against it, but yeah. Regardless, good read from HLE, like pairing the Xayah and the Silas. If you do get a Cassio out of it, I think it does give you a way to play out a game, and it is a bad lane. So the fact they were able to play out is that is good. Nice escape from Delight. He needed to use Flash there for sure. Cassio was spotted. I was surprised by this one, honestly. I think if Busio Q flashes, by the way, then it would have forced the flash from the light, obviously, but I do think that Busio could have proactively went on this. Because, yeah, like, if he stays in the control ward and, like, they wait for it, and the Q flash comes out, it's actually a hit. Syndra Vi work worse? No, I mean, the Syndra, you always have a way to space the Xayah, and Syndra Vi is actually a good combo because of the one-shot. You have more range with the scatter. It makes side laning harder because you can abandon Cassio in the side lane because she's too tanky to be dealt with sometimes. Whereas with the Syndra, you always have to play into the Syndra side. But you're playing Scion, so it's fine. Inspired missed the Q, unfortunately. And then yeah, this was one. Masu did his job in this fight for me. Something like Busi is trying to keep things busy. The Q missed from Inspired. It's kind of whatever. He did end up flash R-ing Viper, which is a little bit funky. Like, Viper ends up being grounded by the Cassio, so, like, that's the combo they want. But the Cassio just gets murked. So I think that they play this a little bit too fast. Like, for me, I think that Inspired needs to Q on this side of the Poppy so that he doesn't get pushed into the fight. Because if he's on that side, then that will buy more space for Quad to get into the fight. By Inspire getting pushed down here, Quad gets a little bit stuck. He has to burn Flash to continue the play instead of saving Flash to play defense. Yeah, like, Masu did his job here. And Masu can rip. I think the Masu played this a little bit slow. Like, he backed off on some of the autos here. I think that he needs to keep on autoing, even if the fight's bad. And then the Void Seeker missed. I think if he actually keeps on autoing and hits the Void Seeker on Peanut, maybe he gets him too. But yeah, it's hard. Yeah, the Vi queuing on the wrong side of Poppy hurt a lot there, so... Because, again, the Poppy E from Delight. Delight played the fight really well. He stalled the fight. He knocked Vi into his team. Brought the fight to the Xayah and the Silas. And that's what Xayah wants. So, well done. And that's pretty much game. Chemtech after that. I mean, Chemtech, by the way, this game, decently valuable. Not being able to die against the FlyQuest team. And, like, Silas and Skarner actually benefit a lot from this. Still not the best soul, but I do want to encourage Chemtech to be looked more at as a situational soul rather than just an overall, oh shit, I rolled Chemtech, that sucks ass. Hello again, Quana. Nice here from Zeka. I mean, they set the house at him, right? And then Blippo ends up doing his best on defense. This is the one fight where I actually like the look here from FlyQuest. Like, I think this is good from FlyQuest. They just played this too fast. So Blippo gets dragged in by Doran. I think if Blippo plays this a wee bit slower, it's fine. But he ends up taking a lot of damage for this, and then he R flashes when his team's not there yet. I like the idea of the R flash to buy space for Cassio, but again, Cassio's just not in range yet for that, so Blippo played that a little bit too quick. Like, this actually looks good for FlyQuest. It's just that the 3-man Skarner E hits. It's a beautiful buffer from... Lucio queued there. Yeah, he doesn't have Q again. I mean, if Inspired like hits the Q a little bit sooner, then it's a maybe, but I think he's out of range. Yeah, he can't flash either. I think they just have to let Quad play this one slow. And then they just wait for their cooldowns to come back. But they played it too fast, and it's a beautiful combo. The Skarner Vi actually is... we saw it again today. It's pretty good. Kaisa should flash here. Yep. Agree. I mean, he is close to dodging with E, I will say. It's like, dodging with E is ideal, but yeah. Once Kaisa gets caught, it's GG's. Because Viper still has ult. And yeah. Viper is pumping. Viper is very fed here. That's... And Doran flash finish. Good job. And that's it. Oh, wait. It wasn't quite it. Yeah. We just went a little bit soon. Oh, dude, poor FlyQuest, man. Yeah, I think both Arrow and Mythu were hoping that Masu flashed and they cleaned up. It's a bummer. Like, I mean, that was a winning angle for them, and then they just like walked into Skarner R. It was bad. Chemsoul fight. They're gonna go fix with the Kaisa, who will blow up super waves, but they can't play it. I really like the red deny here from HLE, by the way. I think HLE split up the resources really well to take the dragon and the red. Really, really smart by them. And then Baron's gone. Yeah. No control left. I thought this was a decent bait by FlyQuest, by the way. Like, Whippo's buying a lot of space, but they can't walk through this choke. So they have to let Masu poke. Like, I actually thought this was, like, okay. And that this was a little bit too soon. But, again, Masu ends up getting R'd by Skarner. Yeah, so Masu didn't flash this. That hurt. Yeah. And then Quad gets cooked. I mean, the R from Quad's good, but then Doran cooks him. It's too bad, too, because, like, Viper actually was kind of pressured this fight. But he gets out of the Casio. God damn, Viper played this so well. Should Quad focus Doran behind him instead of Delight? I actually think the big thing is that instead of flashing her, I think Quad should just insta-R. I think the HLE is a little bit expecting it, but Viper actually was not. Wait, he might have been. Yeah. Yeah, Viper was playing around with where he was turning. But he still gets Scion. I think that focusing Doran kind of, but he's trying to help peel from Masu. So I don't blame him for that, because the Kai'Sa is the important part. But again, like, Chemsoul is pretty damn good in HLE. The durability is really nice. Zeka abuses the heal. Tenacity doesn't suck, so yeah. Anyway, nice run for FlyQuest. Alright, guys, that was HLE versus FlyQuest. Thanks so much for tuning in for the VoD review. As always, if you guys enjoy the content, feel free to drop a sub. I got more. Likes and comments help the channel out a lot. And follow me everywhere at CubbyXX, especially on Twitch, where I stream these live. Until